I know a lot of people don't want to hear this topic, but it is what it is at this point. Really appreciate you guys as we live on all channels here. We live on Facebook. We live on the Periscopes, the Twitter, the Law Nations page. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for the love and support and the love and adulations and all those things. I must say this, Cowboy Nation. When we look at everything from like the beginning into the end, stats, everybody loves stats. Remember, we trust the stats, but we want to verify with the tape and the film. We like to look at the tape and film. It tells us a bigger story, right? Can he make the every throw in the game? Can they win games? Or are they able to I would say, take control of a team and push them out to the next level? Now, in the world of sports nowadays, it says this right here. If you don't win the Super Bowl, then you're pretty much not in it. But we're going to look at some of the things here. And I think from just my mind is that I think that Tony Romo is going to be a fighting chance for him to get in. A fighting chance, a puncher's chance, as they say. But we're going to look at the numbers here, and then we're going to go over line by line. I'm pulling up Tony Romo, Donovan McNabb, Phillip Rivers, because, Phillip Rivers don't have that hardware, and Eli Manning. Now, out of the group, Eli Manning got the ring, right? Everybody knows that Eli Manning is the guy that got 2 Super Bowl rings. He had 2 before his brother had, and everybody know that Eli is not as close to Peyton Manning, but then Peyton Manning got his second ring, and everybody like, okay. And let's click over to this thing, right? Let's look at the stats. I hope you guys are able to see the full picture. If not, I can adjust it so we all can see. There we go. We all can see. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can see the stats. And first category would be games played. Okay, let's just do that. Of course, Eli played 232 games. And then Rivers, 212, and then Donovan. So Tony Romo is last on that list, right? He's last on that list because he only played 156 games. Boy, it seems like Tony Romo played more games than that. Shout out to you, Brian. Shout out to you, Jay. And Jay Farm, appreciate you. Romo team he capitalized, never even nominated for MOY. What's MOY, man? Help me out, man. Help me out. Most of years, or what's MOY? Help me out with MOY before I go a little bit further. What is MOY, man? Spell it out for me, man. I'm kind of slow, man. You gotta help me out. Eli is the GOAT. This is from Martin. Yeah. A Super Bowl ring is a team's accolades. Yeah. I mean, you got to go roll with Super Bowl rings, right? So it's Man of the year. Okay, Jay, I see what you're saying now. Man of the year. Okay. All right. Appreciate you, Jay. Now I got the education for the nation, man. Really appreciate you, man, for putting that out there. All right. So we're going to look back at quarterback. This is pretty much quarterback records and percentage-wise. So guess what? Tony Romo is on the bottom of this list. Phillip Rivers won more games than anybody else on this list. And, of course, I could have added more players. Let me know once this is over with, once we go over these guys, of players you guys want me to add in. Eli, 116 wins. Donovan, 98 wins. And then my boy Romo got 78. With 49 losses. And then we're going to go to completions. Oh, who's on top of this? Of course, this is completed passes or what have you. Eli. And then, guys, don't be weird about this, but we're looking at games played too. So look at that. And, of course, my guy Tony Romo is at the bottom of that list. Attempts, of course, Romo is at the bottom of this list. Completion. See, now you're looking at efficiencies, right? All right, so completions, you still have Tony Romo at the top. Then you have Phillip, then you have Eli, then you have Donovan. And then you're looking at yards. At the bottom of this list, Eli, Phillips, Donovan McNabb. Let's look over to touchdowns, and then we'll look at ratios and things like that. Remember, Yeah, I'm gonna break down per game too, Kieran. We gotta look at per game basis because the overall number, because the volume is a major role in this. Uh, Philip Rivers and I believe Eli, they played and started in 2004, and I think what's this guy? Donovan McNabb. He actually started. He sat behind Ty Detmer, I believe, for a year. So volume. So Romo's in the back situation as it relates to total volume. So that's why we're going to look at per game last, though. I feel what you're saying. So let's look at this touchdown ratio. What have you? Touchdown. Of course, Philip Rivers 374. Because what they're gonna do when you're talking about Hall of Fame, when you're looking at Hall of Fame numbers or what have you, they're gonna look at those things. They're gonna look at the total volume first. Then they're gonna break it down for a per game basis. If that make any sense for you all, let me know if you guys can still hear me and understand what I'm saying. So we're going over this list casually. It's not the end of the world of Cowboy Nation. We just going over some numbers, right? And we'll jump back at this thing, and then we'll talk about game scenarios. We'll talk about which team had the best defense around them, weapons and things of that nature. We'll talk about those things too. So we just take it real one day at a time, right? One movement at a time. Let's continue to slow this thing down, okay? All right, so let's look at this again. We're going to look at this right here. Let me see. I messed up some stuff. There you go. There we go. All right, so we're here. Like I said, appreciate you guys. All right, so Tony Romo is in the second at list. Now, he have no – look, why is he on the second? Why is he second to last on this? He's supposed to be at the bottom of this list if you look at the total games played, right? But it's a story of a different day. All right, so we're going to look at quarterback ratings. Now, I would say this. I should have compared Philip Rivers more towards Big Ben. But, Tony Romo and Philip Rivers, they close in that category as far as rating or what have you, quarterback rating. And longest pass, we're not going to really look into that. But shout out to Eli. He had 99-yard pass. Now interceptions. Bottom of that list. It's not bad at all. Of course, the more games you play, the more chances and the probability that you will pass an INT. This is another thing. Sacks. All these guys up there. So the Romo's at the bottom. So let's look at the per game basis. Let's look at the real meat and potatoes. And of course, all of these quarterback throws the ball down the field. The average ball carrying down the field is 7.9. That's Tony Romo. He threw the ball further. And then 7.8, that's your boy Philip. Eli, 7.0. Oh, y'all call my boy Dak Prescott Rain, Dakota Prescott Dinkin and Duncan. Look at this, 6.9. Dak Prescott is not a 6.9. Dak Prescott is like a 7.4. Oh, Eli. Dinkin and Duncan too. All right, that's a story of a different day. All right, so let's look at this right here. On a per game basis of what these guys going to give you for the Hall of Fame voting or what have you, if they were to do a Hall of Fame voting, completion percentages of completions, what have you, you will have the most completed passes in a game. This is how many times they want you to complete the pass or what have you. And if you see this number, completion always correlates with the attempts. So Philip Rivers, they threw the ball 33 times. Completion percentage is like 21 times, okay? All right, so if you look at Eli, 20. They threw the ball pretty much on an average base, 34. And you're looking at Donovan McNabb, 32, 19. So what we're looking at over the career of Tony Romo, I can say that this team been mostly not a team that's going to throw the ball 30 times a game. So 27 attempts, 18 completions. And then if you look at the yards per game, and this is another thing that they give gripe on Dak Prescott. Hey, he's not passing for 250 yards a game or what have you. And it correlates with each other, the attempts, the completions, and also the yards. But if you look at this thing from a number base, Eli passed for 241, and then you see that Donovan McNabb passed for 223, And this thing couldn't be right. Let me see if I got it right. Yards. There we go. Phillips, Eli, McNabb, and then Romo at the bottom of the list. Same everything. But touchdown. Oh. Phillip, Eli, Tony Romo, McNabb. McNabb says that he have Hall of Fame numbers, but we looking at this thing and we're not finding any Hall of Fame numbers opposed to the other guys that we see on this list. But we do see that Eli and Tony will give you the same touchdown ratio per game, and Phillip Rivers is winning in that department. Now, this is another scenario we want to look at. How they're careful with the ball. Donovan McNabb passed less or fewer interceptions per game. Second on that list is Tony Romo. And then, of course, everything else correlates. Who is holding on to the ball? Who is not getting these sacks? Tony Romo, he's not getting the sacks. And then one can argue and say, well, Law, hey, he only played less games. That's why he only have 1.6. Well, I can dig around and say, well, you know what? You know what? He's getting the ball out. He's not holding on to the ball. We can go to those parameters too. All right, so let me do some Q&A, man. I'm going to get into you guys and see what you guys are thinking and what's on your mind and mental. These stats are brought to you by Pro Football Reference. Check out their website. They have nothing but facts here on their website. They're not a misleading website at all. Pro Football Reference. Check them out. They got all of the good tools and everything that you can utilize to go over stats and things of that nature, if that suits you. All right, so the first questioning of the day will be Jay Farm. Again, he said, Law Nation, look at the postseason stats. He never thrown for more than 300 yards or 3 touchdowns in a single postseason game. When you're mentioning are you referring to Tony Romo? Matter of fact, I forgot to pull up the postseason. That's a good question too, because they kind of put all those things together. Good observation. Let me see. Let me pull back. And remember, we all looking to grow and learn. I don't know all of the things. I just know some things, and you guys know most of the things, right? So let's look all the way down to the postseason. This is where the meat and potatoes at, right? Let's see here. Well, Jay, you said a brilliant point, but he rarely did it during the regular season. Let's see. Far as postseason playoff, not looking good for my boy Tony Romo. How many games he had? Only what? How many postseason games he had? 6 postseason games, right? 6 of them, and out of the 6, his total completion percentage is 61. That's fairly better than he's on top of that list. Touchdowns. Donovan McNabb, boy, he had 20. Boy, Donovan McNabb was lighting it up during the postseason. Shout out to McNabb. My boy Tony Romo's at the bottom of this list. Let's look at quarterback rating, 93. Would you guys take 93? And you can argue the fact that his limited times of being in the postseason, he really didn't turn over the ball much. He had only two interceptions in the postseason. If I were to say every 6 games in the postseason, you only give me 2 interceptions, I would take that any day, every day, all day, even twice on Sunday. But I feel you what you're talking about, Jay. I really think that the game that Tony Romo escaped from him was that New York game in 2007. But Eli is still looking around saying, hey, I was in that game, and I beat Tony Romo in his entire team. So that would suit me. I would say that Eli would be probably, just because he do have 2 Super Bowl rings, and that's a major, and then he beat the New England Patriots twice. I would say he'd probably be, whenever he retires, he'd probably be a first ballot, because they're going to look at it like, hey, he beat the New England Patriots. They had a great run, and they beat the Dallas Cowboys before they got to New England Patriots in 2007, who, quote unquote, was the best team in the NFC during that time frame. So Yeah. Jim Kelly never won a Super Bowl. This is from Derek Savage. But I think he went to 4 of them, though. And I can't use the Jim Kelly argument because I think that Jim Kelly, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, Jim Kelly went to 3 or 4 Super Bowls. I think he went to 4, I believe. Let me see what else we have here. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you all for tuning in to the nation. Let's see if we got another questioning over here. Marino has been there, though. Chris Senior, he said, just Marino been to his Super Bowl. I think he went his rookie year, right? And this is Burrell. You can hate on the kid all you want, but the only thing that Romo did wrong was playing for Dallas Cowboys. I understand that only rings count, unfortunately, but Warner has a better story. Y'all talking about Kurt Warner? Kurt Warner. Now I'll tell you this: I love Kurt Warner's story, but and I'm putting the big if in there, if Tony Romo was to win a Super Bowl, I think that Tony Romo's story would have been better. Don't crucify me, Cowboy Nation. Don't crucify me, all of those who oppose to the Dallas Cowboys. But here's my reasoning why. When you put on that silver and blue, it's different. You immediately get compared to Troy Aikman's, even Danny White's and Roger Staubach's. And then you have this immense amount of pressure poured upon you because the Dallas media always think that you're supposed to win a Super Bowl every year. Like it's a Super Bowl or bust year for Dak Prescott right now. Burrell and Savage says, and Jesse Green says, Kelly went to 4 Super Bowls. Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy in the sense I believe that if Tony Romo were to win a Super Bowl, we would gloss over those numbers and they'll say, okay, first ballot Hall of Fame. Let me know if I'm right or wrong, Cowboy Nation. Just post that down in the comment box. Yes, I can, Law. Just y'all start to mention. What Jay said, appreciate you, man. Derek said he witnessed all 4 of them. Wow. Thank God you're not a Bills fan. Man, that's a... we used to call the Bills, boy, I love losing Super Bowls. Romo is a good regular season guy against the team under 500. Jay, let me ask you guys this, though. Is Peyton Manning really clutch? And I'm asking from a place of sincerity. Is Peyton Manning really a clutch performer? Is Peyton, when Peyton Manning won his first Super Bowl, was that on behalf of everything put into place for Peyton Manning, or did he have to have a stingy defense? Did he have to have the world-class Tony Dungy as a coach? I mean, can we start looking into those parameters? And then also, if you start thinking about the Denver Broncos, was that team souped up really good? And I'm not trying to make excuses, trying to put down one player to elevate the other. Let me know, Cowboy Nation, if you guys feel like Peyton Manning, was he like this clutch guy? And then the year that he won the Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos, man, was that team built for him from the defensive side of the ball? Was they loaded in a sense? Let me know. I'm just this is me asking you guys an honest question. Manning sucked that year. Yes, carry on. Is it Kieran? Appreciate you, man. He did suck that year because I would hate to pull up those stats, and a lot of people would be like, "Hey, wait a minute now, you the stat munchers, da 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 da." But Romo didn't really have the defense to support him. My thing is the Romo angle on the defense. He had defense in spurts, and I would say the 2007 and 2008 team, they was pretty decent on the defensive side of the ball. You may can throw in I think it's what year right before, whatever year we lost, the Dallas Cowboys lost to the Minnesota Vikings. I think the defense was decent enough to do something. But I think that the offense, once the defense finally came along, the offensive line teetered away. except the best players under Wade Phillips. Yeah. All right, so yes, 2013 Law Nation. This is from Jay. Jay always have strong opinions, man. I just love Jay because Jay keep me balanced over here. Matter of fact, Jay, just so that nobody can attack you over here, I'm just going to add you as one of these guys right here. All right, so he says in 2013, Dallas had the number 1 ranked offense and 23rd ranked defense. They brought key pieces in 2014 and made the run in 2015. This is from Jay. So, they had the great offense side, but then they couldn't patch it up or marry it up with the defensive side. I feel what you're saying. And I think that year, I believe that was the first year of my boy Jeff Heath. And all I can remember is Megatron in 2013, just catching balls all over us. And I saw Brandon Carr laid out like a used car. It was crazy. Romo had the top 10 defense from 2006 through 2010. Man, Jay is bringing some facts, man. Can somebody else bring some facts in the house, man? Oh, no, Law. I said Denver. Oh, okay. Okay, Denver. Oh, in Denver, 2013, they had the number 1 ranked offense. Okay, my bad, Jay. All right, so Terrell Davis. Yes, it's 99. Like, the Elway story, if you're talking about the Elway story, John Elway couldn't buy him a Super Bowl, right? Until they reel everything back and said, okay, we're going to focus in on bringing you some key pieces. And I think that the Terrell Davis, I can't talk today, the Terrell Davis helped out John Elway. John Elway always been a good thrower of the ball, been a guy that can win you a few games here and there, but they had to slow it down and bring it in and reel it in and put everything around and say, okay, we're going to get Terrell Davis out here. We got you a tight end that you already been utilizing, and they helped him out. And then if you start to look at when Brett Favre won his Super Bowl, it was a guy named Dorsey Levin, as well as this other guy who was a dynamic kickoff return guy. So it's other pieces that can help you win Super Bowls to make you look over the fact. But once you win a Super Bowl, you go into the aspect of winning the Hall of Fame ballots and things like that, because now they're going to look at you forever as a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. Romo will be in the Hall of Fame, but he'll have to wait. This is what I believe too. This is Chavez. I think that either this is just my thoughts right here. I'm thinking that out of that group of class of quarterbacks, we have from 1998, 99, let me see, 03. What year Breeze was drafted? Was it 03? I'm thinking that Drew Brees is going to be Drew Brees, your boy Phillip Rivers, Big Ben, that class of quarterback, Eli. That wave of quarterback, they're all going to the Hall of Fame. So I'm going to say Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, especially if Phillip Rivers can make another run like he did last year. If he can find a way to get to the AFC championship and get beyond that, then I'm thinking that he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be with the high remarks of going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So Brees, it's no questionings at all. Is Drew Brees going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? It's just going to be like, okay, do you have to really wait 5 years? You're already in there. All right, so Drew Brees going in there. Then you're going to have to look at the fact that you're going to have to bring in Big Ben. And the thing is, I think that Big Ben and Eli Manning both goes in at the same time if they both decide to retire at the same time. Let me know, Cowboy Nation. Let me know how you guys feel. I'm thinking that what's going to happen with Tony Romo is that it's going to be a minute until after all of these highlights goes, and all these highlight goals are far down the line. Then they say, you know what? Let's bring up the Tony Romo and his team, and they start showing all the old highlights of Terrell Owens and all of what he had to go through in order to get to the things that he was there, and he'll get there. Now, if he's broadcasting still, that brings in a lot of notoriety, and then a lot of people are going to look at it from there and be like, hey, let's put this guy into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But before all those guys go in, they better bring my guy Woody in there. They better bring my guy Darren Woodson in there. There's no way Tony Romo is y'all Hall of Fame worthy. Alvin Kamara. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you for tuning in to the nation. Romo had DeMarco and Dez, top of their game in 2014. Yeah. Yeah. It is what it is at this point. Cowboy Nation, I really appreciate each and every last one of you all for tuning in to the nation. My thing is, the reason why I brought up the topic of Tony Romo, will he be possibly going into the Hall of Fame, is because he was elected or nominated into the College Football Hall of Fame. And we would know around 2020 whether or not he will be accepted to the Hall of Fame there. But before I go a little bit further, I have to mention about Cowboys experience. I want to see y'all out there at this event. We will have my brother from another mother, no other. Don't look like Danny Glover. Alan Hearns, Dallas Cowboys wide receiver, and his mom. You know, it's something about mothers, man. You always want to keep them close to you. And we will have an event Saturday, June the 15th, 2019 at 2:30 from 4:30 in Frisco. So call this number 817-888-1726 and hit me up on the gram, man. You guys know I put out a lot of stuff, man. This was from earlier. We just compared Tony Romo raw stats to Donovan McNabb because the question was added that Donovan McNabb was a Hall of Fame, and I just said let's look at the numbers, and that's what we got here. And also on the Instagram, this was the picture of Tony Romo nominated for the College Football Hall of Fame. So what we try to do here is just try to bring up all of the information for the nation, let you guys know what's going around and what's going on. But for real, I want to see you guys at this event so that I can kick it out with you all, and so you guys can pick my brain and I can pick your brain about football, and we'll talk about this team right here, the Dallas Cowboys. Will Dak Prescott one day be a Hall of Famer? Is this the new triplets here? You know, Ezekiel, the main man, Elliott. Also, when we start talking about Ezekiel Elliott production, you know, is he worth the money? Because right now, the LA Rams are looking at $35 million worth of that money. I'm hearing that Todd Gurley's knee is not snapping back, so we having issues with that on the Rams side of the world, and it's some crazy stuff going on, man. What we got over here? Loving A. Reeves, appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, let's go ahead and continue to grind, Cowboy Nation. You know, this is one day at a time, one movement at a time. As you guys can see, man, we've been everywhere, here, there, everywhere, talking about Cowboys sports talk and beyond. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you all for tuning in to the nation. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content, let a friend, neighbor, folk know where to go, and continue. Let's continue to do good things, Cowboy Nation. And also, even though we have different opinion, different views, those convinced against their will is of the same opinion still, right? It is what it is. But a prize fighter continue to fight even when he's down, right? Even when the world is against him, even when everybody say, hey, you can't do this and you can't do that. But what we do, we still continue to swing. We still continue to fight. Regardless of how big your opposition is or how small your opposition is, if they still trying to fight you, you still just got to throw them blows. You just never know, Cowboy Nation or Sports Nation. Man, you better throw Drew Pearson in the Hall of Fame. They better